guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Simplykrystelle. Today's video is going to be all about bronzers. I'm going to be sharing with you guys the top best affordable drugstore bronzers for dark skin, deep dark skin. I thought I would do this video because I don't see a lot of videos about affordable bronzers for deeper dark skin, and I feel like a lot of bronzers that we can find for our skin tones are usually high-end or like luxury and super pricey. So I thought I would share with you guys some of the bronzers that I've tried out and tested out and found at the drugstore or that are super affordable for us deeper dark skin people. So if you want to see this video, just keep watching. Something that really made me want to make this video is because I feel like we don't have to spend a lot of money on bronzers, you know what I'm saying? Like, we already spend so much on foundation and all these things, so I just felt like I wanted to share with you guys like the top affordable bronzers that I found that works for our skin tones, because again, you don't see a lot of these videos and you might find some hidden treasures that I can share with you guys. So the first bronzer that I thought I would share with you guys is this one right here by NYX. This is the NYX Matte Bronzer. I have mine in the shade Deep Tan. Now this bronzer is more of a natural type of bronzer. It's not going to give you that chisel look that you might want, because some people use their bronzers, like, you can build your bronzer up to make it like a contour. So depending on how you use your bronzer or how you like to use your bronzer, this one is more of like a natural type of finish. Like, it's more like a it gives you like a bronze look, but it's not going to be like super evident that it is there. So I would say this is more of like a lighter type of more natural type of bronzer. But I really like this bronzer because, one, it is matte, and I don't have a lot of matte bronzers, and I really do like this one because I just feel like it gives me, like, if I want like that warmth for the day but I don't want to like too much warmth, I really like this bronzer because it is darker than my skin tone. Like, you could see right here, this is what it looks like. But I just really do like this bronzer for like everyday wear, and it's super affordable. I got mine off of Amazon, and I think it was $10, but I believe that you can get this from the NYX website. I don't think Ulta carries it. I don't think Ulta goes this dark from what I remember, because that's why I had to go to Amazon. But I did get mine off of Amazon, and I'll link them down below for you guys, and I'll put the link to actually like where you can get them for you guys, just to make it easier. But yeah, this one is really amazing, and it's super affordable. Next one I'm going to talk about is this one right here from Makeup Revolution. Do you guys remember when Makeup Revolution came out with like a bunch of bronzers, and a lot, this was like really popular on YouTube because a lot of deeper darker skin people felt like we finally had a bunch of bronzers that were super affordable. So they came out with like 6 bronzers, and they're really geared towards our skin tones. So I actually bought the matte bronzer in Deep, and I didn't know it would be this dark. So this is really dark, like too dark for me to bronze with. This would be more of a contour powder on my skin tone, because I usually bronze with, you know, colors like this. So this is really deep for me. I was thinking of just using it as like a contour powder, or maybe I could give it away, but then again, I wanted to keep it because I do like how it feels. Like, it feels so finely milled, like, you guys, like, it feels so nice. Like, when you put your finger in it, like, it just feels like a baby's bottom. Like, it's just so smooth. And do you see how like deep that is? That is super deep. So on me, it definitely wouldn't be a bronzer. It would be more of a contour. But if you are deeper than me, darker than me, this I think would be such a beautiful bronzer on deeper skin than my skin tone. But it's so beautiful. But I think I'm gonna keep it just to use it as more of a contour, even though I don't contour. Like, I really don't contour that much. Barely do I ever contour, but you know, you never know. So I could always just keep it for contouring. And I do love the size of this pan. Like, do you see how big this pan is? Like, this would last you a very long time. Like, compared to your typical bronzers that come like this, like, this is huge, you guys. This is 0.54 ounces, and the bronzer from NYX 0.33 ounces. So this is, you get a lot of bronzer, you get a lot of product in this. So I really recommend these by Makeup Revolution, and I just love, I absolutely love. I think this is one of the first brands that I've seen go this deep with bronzer, aside from Fenty Beauty, who does go deep. But I'm talking about like affordable drugstore prices. Revolution is like one of the only ones who have gone this dark, and they even have darker than this. So I really feel like if you are really deep, you know, you'll find a bronzer for your skin tone that will work for your skin tone in this line from Revolution Makeup. I also want to talk about this bronzer right here from CoverGirl. This is the Full Spectrum CoverGirl Sculpt Expert Bronzer. So this one I did have to go to Amazon as well to find this one because they do not carry it in store. And I have mine in the shade, I have mine in the shade Warmth. So they do have a deep one, which I got the wrong shade, but I still do use this bronzer. So what I would do, guys, is I would use this with another bronzer. So because this has more of like a shimmery type of finish, it is not like a matte bronzer, it's more shimmery, and this is the shade that it looks like right here, like right here at the bottom, but it is not matte, and they do have a darker shade. I accidentally got this one, but this one still does work. So what I do with this one is I would go on top with a bronzer, and then on top of that bronzer I would go on here just to give me more of like a shimmery. So for example, if I use the NYX matte bronzer, I would go on top with this just to give me like more of like a shimmery type of look on my bronzer. But I really do like this bronzer. I think it's very nice formula, and again, it's affordable. Now with this one, I don't think that Walgreens and them carry it. That's why a lot of times, like especially for darker skin people, I feel like we always have to like go to Amazon for things. It's ridiculous. It really is ridiculous. Like I don't get why Target, Walgreens, CVS, and these companies don't carry the darker, you know, tones, and why we have to go to Amazon. Like that's, anyways, but that's another video. But I just wanted to mention this one. This is really a great bronzer, and it does work. Now if you are darker than me, definitely the darker shade one would probably be better, and I think I'm gonna go pick up the darker shade one, just because, you know, this I use more so of like a bronzer topper as opposed to like by itself. Like I've used it by itself to bronze, and it does work on my skin tone, but I, you know, if I wanted like more of a bronzier look, I definitely would use the darker one. But this one is really good, and it's really affordable. And again, I will leave all of the links to where I got them for you guys, so you guys can go and just click it if you want to purchase any of these bronzers. I'm going to mention this bronzer. This is by Physicians Formula, and this is the Bata bronzer. Now I never thought in a million years I would ever be mentioning a Physicians Formula bronzer on my skin. Do you guys remember when Physicians Formula came out with these butter bronzers like years ago, like 2014, 2015, and they only had like 2 shades, and they were like super light brown shades that didn't work for us at all. So this is actually the Sculpting Bronzer by Physicians Formula, and as you can see, this is really deep. This is a darker bronzer, and it really does work for us darker skinned people. Like Physicians Formula finally got it together, you know, after all of these years. But I really do love this bronzer, more so for the formula. Like the color is nice and everything, but I love the formula. Like it really is like that buttery smooth bronzer. Like me dipping my hand in it, it feels like I'm dipping my hand in butter. Like, and this is the bronzer right here. This is it right here. So as you see, guys, it is, you know, deeper, and it does work on our skin tones. Like look at that, like that is really dark. So this bronzer is really good, but I really love this bronzer so much for the formula, just because it has that creamy smooth formula. And I just wanted to mention too, like these bronzers that I'm mentioning today, they are not patchy, they are not hard to work with, they are all super easy to use. So I just wanted to mention that as well. Like not only is the shade right, but the formula is right as well, because why would you buy something that just because of the shade? Like, you want the formula to be great and you want the formula to work. So this bronzer is really, really great. And again, I love the formula so much, and it's really buttery and creamy and super easy to work with. And not to mention, it's a really nice shade. So the Physicians Formula one, it is a little bit more pricier. I think that these run for like $12-13, which is more pricier than $8, but it is a really great bronzer. And Physicians Formula has always been like a drugstore brand, but it's always been like a little bit more pricier drugstore brand. But this bronzer, I really do like it, and it's a great bronzer. If you haven't tried this one, you need to try it. The next bronzer that I want to mention is actually a bronzer palette. So this is from e.l.f. and this is the bronzer palette from e.l.f. and this is the deep one. So e.l.f. has two of these. They have a deep one and they have like a lighter one. So this is the deep one, made for like darker skin tones. And let me just tell you guys a disclaimer. These in the pan look really light, but when you put them on your skin, they are really dark, and it's very easy to contour with this. I'm telling you right now, like, I used the first time I used this, I had mixed this shade and this shade together, and this really like chiseled out my cheeks so bad. Like, I have a video, actually I did like a full face of e.l.f. and stuff, and I used this and my cheeks were like super chiseled because I went a little overboard with these two, because I was like, they don't look too dark in the pan, so let me just mix them. And I used a lot and it really like chiseled out my face. So just be careful when you're using them. They do look lighter in the pan, but on your skin they will look darker, and it will be very easy to contour, especially if you use this guy right here, because this one's really dark. But I really do love this bronzing palette, and I also love the price tag way more than like, the price tag is super affordable. e.l.f., as we all know, is a super affordable brand. They're not too expensive. You don't break the bank with this brand. And also, guys, the formula of these are very nice. Like, even touching them in the pan, like, do you see how much comes out on my finger? Like, look at that. Like, a lot comes out of my finger when I just do like a little swatch with these bronzers. Look at that. What I like about palettes, like face palettes or blush palettes, is that you get a variety. And that's one thing I love, because like, if you don't feel like going too dark, you can always mix this one and this one. Or if you don't feel like like, you have that option of changing things up when you have like a palette to work with, because you have 4 shades. And these, I would say, are definitely more cool toned bronzers than the other ones I mentioned previously. Like, I feel like these are more cool toned. Like, this one especially just looks so like way cool toned, so that's why maybe it just looked like a contour on me, because it is so cool toned. But I do like to bronze with these, but now I definitely go for lighter hand when I do use this palette, just because I do know that it can contour my face, so I do recommend, if you use this, if you want to use this as a bronzer, just kind of go with a lighter hand, and you can always build it up to your preference. But it's an amazing palette, you guys, and it's so affordable, so affordable. And you get 4 bronzers, as opposed to like this one by Physicians Formula, which is amazing, by the way. But you get 1 bronzer for $12, but you get 4 bronzers in this palette, and it's just more affordable. But again, everything that I mentioned today, they have amazing formulas, and I have used all of these bronzers. I wouldn't mention anything that I haven't used or anything that I don't recommend. So all of these I have used on my face, and all of these I've tested them out for weeks, just so I could give you guys like a good review and a real review. So another bronzing palette that I really do like, and I didn't think I was gonna like it. I really didn't think I was gonna like it at all. This is the Essence Sun Club Matte Bronzing Powder Palette. So this bronzer palette, as you see, guys, in the pan, just like the e.l.f. one, the colors look super light, but I used mostly 1, 2, and 3. I used these 3 right here. This one I don't use because it's pretty light. Like, I think I could use it maybe as an eyeshadow, but as you see, like, it's pretty light down here. If you are of lighter skin tone, you can definitely use this one as a bronzer. But I really do love to use these two, especially mixed together. And I know it's kind of silly, like, why would you buy a palette and only use 2 of the bronzers? it is silly. But again, like, I do have a makeup channel and I do test out a lot of makeup, so you know, I do buy a lot of makeup because this is my channel, what it's about. But if you know, if you're someone who like is starting out and you really want like a bronzer, I would recommend, honestly, if you want like a bronzer palette, I'm gonna mention a bronzer palette that's really good, but just hold on one second, let me finish this. So anyways, I really do like these two mixed together. I think that it gives me like that nice warmth, but it's not too much. Like, I'm a very natural person. Like, I mean, right now I'm wearing like a dark brown lipstick and, you know, all this stuff, but I just, on the everyday basis, I just feel like I can reach for these two and mix them and just go to work like that. So what I'm saying is like, these two right here are just amazing for deeper, darker skin. Now, if you are a little darker than me, I think this one would work really well if you're darker. And again, I know it looks like super light in the pan, but trust me, when you put it on your brush, even when you swatch them, it is not light, it is darker. So don't be fooled and don't be like turned off because of the way it looks in the pan. If you have your, I know right now, I think in stores like they don't put testers out because of everything going on, but if you have at your local Ulta, if they do put the testers out, go in the store and swatch these and see if you like them. But I really do like these two. They work really well on my skin tone and I love them to bronze. And I never was a bronzer person before. Like, I never used to bronze before, and I just started bronzing like probably within the last year, and I love bronzing. Like, I cannot do my makeup without bronzing my skin. Like, I just love to add that warmth in. Like, as you see, like, I'm wearing a bronzer right now and this beautiful highlight right now. This highlight is just so pretty. It's, oh, so beautiful. But I am wearing a bronzer. It's not this bronzer. I'm going to mention the bronzer I'm wearing. But I do really like this bronzer palette by Essence. And again, you get 4 bronzers. I think this is $10. $10 for 4 bronzers. Like, that is amazing. Really, really amazing. And these are pretty big. Like, these pans are pretty big, you know. These are really big pans for, you know, the palette. So for $10. And Essence, again, is like e.l.f. It's a super affordable brand and they have amazing products. They make my favorite setting powder. The banana brightening powder is my favorite one. So now the bronzer palette that I wanted to mention for you guys is actually a contour palette, but I use the sculpting shade as a bronze, and this is by Black Radiance. Now, Black Radiance is a black owned brand. They are so slept on. Like, people don't talk about this brand at all, and I'm like, why don't people talk about this brand? Like, this brand is amazing and super affordable, and they have really good products. You know, I love this. I used to use this all the time back in the day, and I stopped using it and I just went back to using it. But I really love this shade right here, the Sculpt shade, for bronzing. Now, if you are deeper than me, like darker, you can use this one for bronzing, or if you want to contour, you can use this one for contouring. But I really love to use the one in the middle for bronzing my skin. It gives me that nice warmth. All the bronzers that I'm talking about are not red undertoned bronzers. I wouldn't recommend a red undertone bronzers to you guys, unless if you want a red undertone one, I can find one for you. I just feel like this Sculpt shade is so beautiful, you guys. Like, this, and this feels like putty. Like, it feels like close to putty to me. Like, it kind of feels like the ColourPop highlighters, the Super Shock highlighters, but this is the Sculpt shade right here, and do you see how deep that is? Like, that is so beautiful. Now, with this one, I definitely would recommend using a light hand, because as you see, depending on your skin tone, but if you're like my skin tone or lighter, definitely go in with a light hand, because as you see how dark that is, you definitely don't want to go too overboard with it. And then the contour shade, like, do you see how this is like nice, you guys? Like, look at these shades are made for us. I mean, this is a black owned brand, and even I used to use the medium to dark palette as well before, and that one worked for me too. The Sculpt shade was really good in that one. So if you want, you could probably get away with using this is the dark to deep one, but you could get away with using the medium to dark one as well, because you could always mix the sculpting and the contour. Like if this one is way too dark for you, they have two other ones. They have a light to medium, I think, and they have a medium to dark one. So they do gear to different skin tones, but I really do love this one. But if I would definitely recommend going for a lighter hand and building up the color, just so you don't go too overboard with the bronzer. But yeah, this is a great bronzer, and you also get a highlight in this palette as well. So I think it's like a trio. It gives you your contour, your sculpting, and your highlight, and this is so affordable, and it's amazing, really great. The last bronzer I wanted to mention for you all is this right here. This is by Morphe, and this is the Brontour bronzer plus contour, and I have mine in the shade Fantabulous, and this is actually the bronzer that I'm wearing today. So I used this side right here. I should have mixed them together, but I just used this one, and as you guys see, like, it really did bronze my skin. Like I feel like my skin has that warmth right here, like underneath it. Do you see that warmth there? And I did use it like a little bit on my forehead as well, but I feel like this did such a great job at bronzing my skin. I feel like I look like, just like I have that warmth underneath like my jawline, and I just feel like it looks really nice and really great. I really do love this bronzer a lot. This is a matte bronzer, so it's not gonna be a little shimmery. It doesn't have like those specks of shimmer or glitter in it, but I think it's really super like smooth, super creamy, very easy to work with, very blendable, and it's not patchy, and it just gave my skin like that nice bronze. Do you see that bronze like right here? Like, do you see that warmth? Like, I see the warmth. I don't know if you guys can see the warmth, but I really love this bronzer a lot. It is the perfect shade, and it's the perfect undertone. Like, I feel like all the bronzers I mentioned, now this one, it does look a little red in the pan, like on the swatch. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, you know, it does look a little red on the swatch, but I feel like on my skin it doesn't look red, you know. Well, this is my blush, but like I feel like the bronzer doesn't look too red, but the swatch does look a little red. So just a disclaimer for you guys, it does look a little red, like it has a little like orangey red undertone, because you don't want to walk around looking like a Oompa Loompa or anything. But I really do like this bronzer. I think it's so beautiful. These are $12, and actually this one is the darkest one. If you are deeper than me, I like one or two shades, I think you can get away with this. But if you're super like deep, I don't think this would work for you. But you know, I'm sorry, I didn't know this one didn't have more. I could have sworn this one had way more than just 3 compacts, but I do really like this one. But I just wanted to kind of show bronzers for every skin tone, you know, every dark, deep skin tone. But this one I don't think would work for if you like more deeper. This would definitely not work. But I did show, you know, others that would work for you. But I do really like this one, and if you haven't got your hands on it and you are, you know, able to wear it, I would definitely recommend it. Now, it is a little pricier than the other ones I've mentioned. It is $12 for these two, which is not super crazy expensive, but it is a little bit more pricey just for 2 little bronzers, you know, especially if you're trying to stay on budget. All of the bronzers that I mentioned, you guys, I have used them all, and I don't think that you have to spend so much money on a bronzer. Like, they all do the same thing. They really all do the same thing. They all just add warmth to your skin, just like blush and highlight. Do you really have to spend so much money on those things? So I really hope that you guys liked this video and you found it helpful, especially if you're trying to find more affordable drugstore bronzers and you are darker, deeper skin tone, because I know, like, you know, these are not readily available for us, so it's very hard, especially as a darker skinned person, to find products that work for you in the stores. So I just thought I would film this video and share with you guys that there are some amazing affordable bronzers for darker skin, and I just wanted to help out and just share what I found. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you are not already subscribed, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.